We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. HOTspots is soon to celebrate its 40th anniversary. It is back with a new issue, a special Halloween edition featuring exclusive interviews, event details, and popular columns. Get your free copy this Thursday.
Celebrate the Cannonball Bash's 5th anniversary, the Bear Kingdom in Florida, with parties, contests, karaoke, and a grand finale feast from October 30th to November 4th.
Throughout history, oppressive doctrines from religious groups have justified violence against LGBTQ+ individuals. Now Iran exemplifies brutal repression under Sharia law and harsh penalties.
Melbourne police detained 13 suspects linked to robberies and assaults on LGBTQ men using dating apps like Grindr. The app has issued a safety warning in Victoria for its users.
The November 5th election is crucial for democracy. Trump's rhetoric against marginalized communities recalls the Lavender scare, urging people to be vigilant against the hateful patterns.
Good evening. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels. We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, that we now have more than 10 million views on the only daily live queer news show in the world. Woo. We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in October, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ+ brand in Florida. More than 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 60 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our community. It is Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
The world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
HOTspots magazine, happening out television network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community. Our mission? To support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, HOTspots magazine and Happening Out television network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
Let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 2 short story collections and 7 books of poetry. He's an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of print and online publications. Gregg, I love the shades. Welcome back to the table.
The shades are completely unplanned because when you get old, you forget shit at home.
I figured we should just rip the Band-Aid right off for you. Let's welcome back anchor Dr. Bobby Huen. He is a certified civil and family mediator and founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. From Hong Kong and having grown up across the world, he can offer a queer global perspective on current events. Welcome back, Bobby.
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone on our audience to go vote. Early voting has started.
That won't be the last time you hear that from any of us, just letting you know now. Let's welcome TriniDaddy. He is the artistic talent, a violinist and pianist with the Miami City Ballet, and is the program director for the Seminole Theater Players in Homestead. TriniDaddy Disney Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas in concert is on October 26th at the R&A Theater at the Broward Center. Tell me what's happening.
Well, on Saturday at the Broward Center, if you like the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is an iconic Tim Burton with Danny Elfman's music, there will be no audio in the, or music in the recording. it will be replaced by a live symphony orchestra, which I will be performing in, doing all the music so you can see all the bows flying in all of these scenes. It's a really amazing experience. I've done the Harry Potter ones. If you've never seen a screening with a live orchestra, it's something that you should take your kids to. You should go yourself. It's for all ages. People dress up. It's a great time. You all should come.
Sounds so nostalgic.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, Eric Restivo. Eric is well known for DJing at some of the largest clubs in West Hollywood and has had residencies in LA, P-Town, New York City, and now Wilton Manors. He is the television host of The W Boys, focusing on LGBTQ plus love for entertainment. Broadcast Fridays and then on demand. Welcome, Eric.
Oh my gosh, I need to take you everywhere with me to intro me like that, even just walking into the bar. I did want to quickly just shout out on this Saturday again, if you can't get a ticket to Nightmare Before Christmas, or you're looking for something to do a little bit later, honey, we do have the Spooktacular D-Rock Productions and Matthew Darren are presenting it at Hunter's. Doors are opening at 6. The show's at 7 p.m. I'll be DJing, co-hosting, and singing a duet with a RuPaul's Drag Race queen that I cannot name right now. So check it out. Get your tickets at drockpro.com. I hear the VIP balcony section is going to be off the wall. And then if you are a little bit more of a dirty bird, right after that on October 26th from 11:55 p.m. to 3 a.m. at the pub, it is closed to the public. There is a event from the Eagle that is taking over the space at the pub. It's called The Eagle Tops the Pub. It is $15 at the door. That's really all I can say. If you have a wild side, I will see you there as well. I'm DJing a all-house kind of tribal underground sex club beats. It's going to be crazy. $15 at the door. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. First, let's queer up HOTspots magazine. HOTspots magazine's special Halloween edition issue will be on stands Thursday, October 24th. HOTspots will be celebrating 40 years soon, and it will also release the new issue this Thursday. The magazine is part of HOTspots Happening Out, the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media group in America. The new issue is a special Halloween spooky edition with exciting features to keep you entertained as HOTspots covers everything you need to do from now until Gay Christmas. This issue also comes with a beatbox feature written by Jimmy Newsom on top songs playing in all your favorite gay clubs. Also, you don't want to miss the feature written by Queer News Tonight icon Al Ferguson on the 5th anniversary of the Cannonball Bash. Scott Holland talked to Dr. Ross Lemon on Boca Deerfield Foot Care Center, shedding light on the importance of your foot care. It is a must-read, honey. What else? The new issue has everything you need to know about the Equality Florida Broward Gala that will be held on November 9th. Dennis Dean has clicked some amazing photos of Florida's favorite cover models, me too, and Scott Holland has interviewed them just for you. Well, I haven't been on the cover just yet, but they're putting it out there. You will enjoy a feature on Mrs. Doubtfire, which will run at the Kravis Center. The magazine also reached out to two of the talented and handsome actors in this production, Jonathan Hoover and Alex Branton, and you will get to read their complete interview in this new issue. Wilton Manor's 19th annual Taste of the Island celebration is on November 11th. All the details about the event are mentioned in the magazine. And, of course, you can read popular features like Hot Bodies by Leo Harley, Hot Eats by Maria Espinal, Hot Dishes by Howard Elfman, Deep Inside Hollywood by Romeo San Vicente, and What's Hot by and Out with Scott by Scott Holland. Grab your free copy of HOTspots magazine on stands Thursday, October 24th, or you might just miss all of the fun. And fun is the perfect word to describe the magazine. I often feel that enough of us don't read enough, so pick it up. Go through it. It's not just going to be, a thoughtless little cosmopolitan magazine. There are places that are recommended for you to go for dinner. There are free events. There are sober events. There are different worship services. There are so many different things and outlets within the HOTspots magazine. And the fact that it's celebrating 40 is just crazy. Almost happy birthday.
I can't wait for Taste of the Island. It's so much
yes.
fun, and it's yummy, yummy, yummy. I can't wait.
Well, the article I'm most passionate about is foot care. Because if I had to go back to my younger self and give myself some kind of piece of advice, I would not be saying, Trini, love yourself. Fuck that. I would be saying, take care of your feet. Because that is really important that you don't realize. Don't wear those cheap flip-flops. Get the good kind with arch support. Get some orthotics, like do some...
Mine have got both underneath this table.
Yes, me too.
Got them on right now.
Calf stretches and hamstrings and Kegels. That's my contribution.
Well, Taste of the Island I look forward to. And also, can we get past... I mean, I'm afraid that like every year, Mariah Carey gets thawed earlier and earlier and earlier. Can we not have Christmas until at least after Halloween? Actually, preferably after Thanksgiving.
Can't agree with that. Can't agree to that. Mariah Carey comes out really early in my house.
Oh, God.
We take her out early.
And before a fight breaks out, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. The Cannonball Bash returns for their 5th anniversary with the Bear Kingdom for Halloween. Cannonball Bash and the 2024 theme Bear Kingdom is back, celebrating its 5th anniversary from October 30th to November 3rd, 2024 in Fort Lauderdale. The event kicks off with registration on October 29th at the Westin Cypress Creek, where guests can enjoy snacks, a welcome drink, and a fun-filled meet and greet at Alibi and Hunters. There are so many events. Highlights include the Royal Welcome Pool Party, Halloween costume contests, and daily bear karaoke. On Halloween night, don't miss the Zombie Pajama Pool Party and free shuttle to Wicked Manors. For fitness lovers, bear yoga is scheduled, and the popular Gold Royale Pool Party makes its return too. The weekend culminates with the Cannonball 5th Anniversary Pool Bash, Jester Brunch with the Queens, and a spectacular night's banquet feast and show. Cannonball is unique among America's largest gay festival events as it is so inclusive. Transportation is included to many other LGBTQ landmarks in the region, and this is a weekend party full of dining, special events, and a not-to-be-missed experience with thousands of your new best friends. The hotel stay has long been sold out, but you can still get event, day, and weekend passes. For a detailed schedule and more information, visit cannonballbash.com. Well, it sounds like a fun series of events that will once again prove the value and impact of the queer community on Florida's economy. They need us. Come on down, spend some money, and, meet some fellers.
Most importantly, stick your middle finger to Ron DeSantis and other Florida Republicans.
Well, I think that was a great point. I was going to say the same thing, that the Westin is sponsoring this whole weekend, and it's not something that's directly on the drive, so, it's a little bit removed, and they do need us for this amount of days, and, it's just going to be kind of a crazy shit show here with Halloween at the same, it's just everything all at once, but that bear soup looked delicious in that photo. I mean, just for saying, so. I'm not the type, but I'll go to the events,
They're my type.
They're your... No, of course.
I'm
saying that they're my type, too. They will not even look at me, honey. I'm barely a meerkat in those eyes,
Oh, you'll be surprised.
Next, let's queer up social justice. Iran is a contradiction with homosexual executions and world's leading trans surgery country. At first glance, Iran is a nightmare for the LGBTQ plus community. Under Sharia law, more than 7,000 homosexuals have been executed since the 1980s. Throughout history, queer oppression has been driven by destructive doctrines from Orthodox and fundamentalist religious communities. These groups have long used religion to justify the marginalization, harassment, denial of rights, and even the murder of individuals based on their identity. This has been seen throughout the Christian world, from the Roman emperors to the Spanish Inquisition, and even Nazi Germany. Tyrants in some Islamic countries also justify LGBTQ oppression under Sharia law. In a horrifying example, ISIS combatants have been throwing suspected gay men from rooftops as others pelt them with rocks. Amid ongoing Middle Eastern tensions, Iran remains a focal point, not just for its foreign policies, but also for its domestic repressions. Since Iran's revolution, the Orthodox regime has launched a war on its own people, including queer citizens, under strict Sharia law. Iranian law criminalizes consensual same-sex relationships, with punishments ranging from flogging to death. Women face similar punishments for engaging in same-sex acts, and after 4 offenses, both men and women can be executed. Since the 1980s, an estimated 7,000 homosexuals have been executed. High-profile public executions like the hanging of 2 gay teenagers in 2005 highlight the severity of Iran's approach. This is why the little-known secret in the West seems like such a contradiction. The government reclassified transgender people in 1986, permitting gender confirmation surgery, but trans people in Iran still face frequent harassment and persecution. Iran has now become a world leader in transition surgery, second only to Thailand. Both of these facts mean Iran continues to be an enigma wrapped in a riddle when it comes to LGBTQ rights and acceptance. Wow, this was tough to read. For me, it's almost like a draw for our community to go for things like a transitional surgery, gender affirming care. But then once you're there, what happens? It's scary. It's really scary. Is that part of it? Are they to draw us in to hurt us? Is it to, what is it? I don't get it.
The Iran situation is bizarre in so many ways, but actually has been that way for a while now. The thinking is that instead of being gay, one of the partners must be transitioned so that one is male, one is female. So it is technically straight relationship. And also, I want to point out that Roman emperors did not criminalize homosexuality until Christianity became the national religion throughout the empire in 394 AD, which makes the cause of Romans banning homosexuality the fault of the Christians. And also, that region in Iran and that particular entire region is extremely opposed to homosexuality. I mean, the whole, Saudi Arabia also punishable by death. Bahrain, Bahrain and Qatar, they try to hold these World Cup events and ban. Well, they technically welcomed gay people, but confiscate the pride flags, arrest the journalists, and throw them out for reporting on the dire straits of LGBTQ people in that particular region. And also, really, Thailand is a better choice because if you're going for transition surgery, they now have gay marriage, gay people are widely accepted, and they have, and you don't get sanctioned for going there as an American.
Well, it's another example of the way religious extremism can do irreparable damage to a country and its citizens. And speaking of which, if the Orange Freak Show is reelected, his Heritage Foundation buddies will be borrowing pages from the Persian Iran handbook. You know that for gay people. So just keep that in mind and vote.
Not just for gay people, for women too.
So I think that one of the main reasons we're talking about this is because one of our allies is at war in the Middle East. And anytime you bring up supporting Gaza or any of the people who are being tortured and bombed and deprived of basic human rights, as a gay person, you will have a conservative, a lot of times a Christian conservative, say, they'll throw you off a rooftop. Why are you even supporting them? So ISIS, yes, has thrown people off rooftops, and it's important that we know that ISIS and Hamas are not all Middle Eastern citizens. There's big divides. They murder their own people in there. It's an extremist regime. What I would say to the Christians is that you remember that man named Jesus who was paraded through the streets and beaten and spat upon? And what did he say when he got onto the cross? Forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they're doing. So I would say to take a page out of your own book. Just because a group of people hate you because of their own ignorance in the place that they come from doesn't mean that we should be supporting the destruction of their cities, their children. When you see these people with their dead babies in their hands and you can't have sympathy and say, you know what, they haven't evolved in the same way that we have yet, and criticize, like, I just think that it's a ridiculous situation. And just one other thing too, for the people who are not religious, who are completely ignore whatever teachings are in the Bible, like Bill Maher. Bill Maher says this all the time, like the queers, he makes fun of the queers for Palestine. It's not that long ago in our own country's history that we were pretty hostile to gay people, and in some communities we still are. So I remember Matthew Shepard and I were in college at the same time, not in the same school, but I remember when he was killed, and that was really hard for us, you know. And then the AIDS crisis in the 90s, growing up as an evangelical, gay men were dying left and right in horrific deaths. And people were saying, the conservatives were saying, like, oh, well, that's just God's judgment and punishment, you know, upon them. And we didn't really stand up for these people. So I never wished harm upon the people who hadn't yet evolved, because we were at times homophobic against ourselves. We didn't like that we were gay. Our parents had to come to grips that they had gay children, you know, and I didn't wish any of them death. I wished to be their friend, to have understanding, to start the dialogue. So I just think that, you know, we should rethink how we talk about Middle Eastern people and their views on gay people, because we all had to evolve at some point and they just may not be there yet.
And, you know, speaking of the aforementioned ally, Israel loves to trot out their embrace of LGBTQ people, but the current government under Netanyahu are staffed by ultra-nationalist and ultra-orthodox members of their legislature.
Homophobes.
They seek to roll back LGBTQ rights inside their own country. Yes, the Tel Aviv has one hell of a pride, allegedly, never been, but that doesn't mean that the current Israeli government is not homophobic as heck. You know, they love to paintwash this by saying that, oh, in Israel, LGBT people can exist, except they cannot get married, except they don't have the equal rights with against straight Israelis. And let's not forget, about 10 years ago, during Jerusalem Pride, an ultra-Orthodox man stabbed an American girl to death. So, yeah, who is homophobic and who? That whole region is problematic. And now, next, let's queer up the worldview. Australian police detained 13 suspects after LGBTQ men were attacked via Grindr. Authorities in Melbourne have detained 13 suspects in connection with a series of robberies and assaults targeting LGBTQ men who use gay dating apps. According to police, the 5 victims were attacked after meeting the suspects on apps like Grindr, where they were assaulted, robbed, threatened, and subjected to homophobic slurs. Some incidents were even filmed, with attackers locating victims' homes via social media. Several of those arrested are under 18, including 2 17-year-olds and a 16-year-old. While 2 have been arrested pending summons, one faces charges for attempted armed robbery and criminal damage. An 18-year-old has been charged with home invasion and recklessly causing injury. Police do not believe the incidents are connected. They are also reminding app users to protect their identity and location before meeting others. Acting Commander Kelly Lawson emphasized the police commitment to queer safety, stating, quote, "Everyone has a right to go about their lives, meet new people, and start a relationship in safety," end quote. Grindr has issued a safety warning in Victoria, advising users to take extra precaution when meeting people. Well, first of all, it's when you use Grindr or any other hookup apps, make sure that you're meeting them in crowded public places, so that you don't, you know, where there are surveillance cameras watching you.
Nobody does that.
Right, I mean, you would think it would go without saying that people would do that, but the fact that they have to remind people on the app to do that.
I would just buy don't do the free version. Like, pay the $5 for the Grindr and do the one that, like, people who don't
It's not
do
$5 anymore.
What is it, $7?
No, it's not like they're like.
But that do what?
But, like, you
do background information?
you could do like a premium option where people who don't pay don't get access to you. It's a more like not randomized You know, like these guys were just on Grindr messaging people who just everyone who downloads it can get. There are different tiers of Grindr. There's different tiers of Sniffies. There's different tiers of all these gay apps that if you pay to play a little bit, you won't just be exposed to anyone who can jump on there and log in anonymously, and play with you. You know, I'm just saying, you know.
I mean, it's hard out there.
If you're already going to be on these apps, you might as well do it the right way.
I mean, it's hard out in these streets.
Is it?
All right, it is. It is hard out in these streets.
Let's
Married
look it up
people
right now.
don't even
Let's see
know
how much it is.
So I do have one of the paid subscriptions.
I'm Googling it.
And I don't know that function on there, but maybe it's more of the no fats, no femmes, like that kind of thing.
No, it's not a function.
There.
It's just people won't be able to message you unless they're at a certain tier in their account. Yeah.
That's not true. Free account holders can still message paid account.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What's the point of having a paid
I don't think they can.
The messages are limited.
And you also only get a limited access. So
Exactly.
So
touch and
I
go.
think the thing is, like, look, gay men, they don't do that. Like, they're like, well, let's make sure that we meet in a public space and whatever,
Yeah.
because people use it as a hookup app. And so in a hookup app, you're not trying to go into a public space to meet somebody.
Right.
I'm not saying I necessarily use it as that. But it's just not reasonable to think that. And I remember in my first gay app dating days back in 2014, I was on something very similar, and I met with somebody, and you were itching to say something about this.
I'm not. I just found I got the prices.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
So
I was happy I found them so fast. That's all.
he got in. I was in the apartment and there was no lights, and I was like, "Why are there no lights in here?" He's like, "Oh, I just moved in and I don't have light bulbs yet."
No.
And I'm like,
No.
"We're sitting on the balcony right now because in the balcony I can scream for help or something." So we sat on the balcony the whole time and then I realized he was harmless and just kind of a weird person that I never saw again.
There are people who will do what you're saying, who'll say, let's go meet for a drink or whatever after a shot is taken. We're like, okay, well, let's go do this or whatever. But that's not 1 in 4 gay men. That's someone who's got a plan for the evening. I found out Grindr Extra so they tried to get you in with more months, less pay. So Grindr Extra costs $19.99 for 1 month. That's expensive. I'll say that's expensive for a monthly thing, but $39.99 for 3 months. So it's like they try to make you get 3, and then $99 for a whole year, while Grindr Unlimited second tier, there's Casamigos and then there's 1942, is $39 for 1 month, which is crazy. $79 for 3 months. And wait, $240 for 1 year. And what you get is beyond. It's everything. You can use any grid controls. You can get additional features like 0 third-party ads, read receipts from people you're messaging on Grindr, and 5 expiring photos per day. So that also sounds like something a serial killer would do.
They can still message you though,
insane.
but they can message you though.
I know, it doesn't
What's
say.
to stop teenagers from getting their
And
money
also,
to do that?
Nothing.
That's the
Nothing.
thing.
Yeah,
Wild.
right.
Wild.
Teenager has been using these not just to lure people to rob, but also some underage kids sign on just to hook up with people.
I toyed with the expensive one. I do the middle one, but the expensive one goes. The benefit of that is incognito because you can still do red on the other ones.
And
too.
what I'm pretty sure is what it is you can message someone on the free one who's in within 3 to 5 miles. So if you wouldn't be able to show up if you were of a certain
It's the
distance.
first 100
It's
people
something
that's
like
in the
that.
grid.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
but
if you live in Homestead, you gotta have you gotta stay in the middle one because you gotta get out.
Yeah,
you gotta
you've got to
move out.
You've got to star.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there are a lot of faceless profiles. Social torsos or no picture at all.
Right, but this was eye-opening.
Well, next, let's queer up politics. How is Trump fear-mongering any different than 1950s Lavender scare? There's perhaps no more critical election in U.S. history than the one on November 5th, where democracy itself seems to be at stake. Vice President Kamala Harris has emphasized how former President Donald Trump threatens not just American democracy, but also the daily lives of its citizens, particularly marginalized communities. Trump's accusations against immigrants, such as his debunked claim that Haitian immigrants in Ohio are kidnapping and eating pets, and his fabricated claims of trans health care in schools, recall the dangers of rumor mongering from the past. Critics suggest this rhetoric echoes the Lavender Scare of the 1950s, when during the Red Scare, homosexual men and women were branded as, quote, deviants and national security threats. Led by Republican Senator Joseph McCarthy, the era was marked by false accusations, public purges, and deep-rooted paranoia. Government officials, including closeted homosexuals like Roy Cohn, carried out these purges, which destroyed the careers and lives of countless LGBTQ Americans. A major weapon in this crusade was Executive Order 10450, signed by President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1953. This order led to the mass expulsion of gay and lesbian employees from government positions, a policy that wasn't fully reversed until 1995. The ripple effects of the Lavender Scare were devastating, forcing people out of their jobs, leading some to suicide, and forever altering the lives of thousands. As Trump and his allies champion a platform reminiscent of McCarthy-era policies, including the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, which threatens queer rights, history warns us of the potential dangers. What happened during the Lavender Scare shows how easily an entire community can be vilified and terrorized. With Election Day approaching, it's vital to remember this dark chapter of American history to avoid repeating it. Well, second time, go out and vote. And as I kind of alluding to the other story that we were talking about before, our history with LGBTQ plus people is not fantastic either. And this pendulum swings back and forth. And I have a whole theory on why this happens, but that's for another day. I'm hoping that the pendulum is swinging in the other direction, but I've been going through all the polls, and it is so hard to get a read.
Scary.
Each one is padding their constituency, and each one is saying that they're in the lead. No, we're in the lead. I have no idea.
I think the polls are there to make us crazy.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention to the polls much until a little closer to. Yeah.
But that picture of Trump and his little lover, rotten Roy Cohn, is really enough to make you want to vote.
There he
and
is.
Also, like you said, that he was a gay man. Roy Cohn was a gay man, and he was turning against his
Like
own.
not like very gay, by the way, just so we're all aware. Yeah. I did the
Extremely
homework.
flamboyantly gay. Extremely flamboyantly gay.
Right.
But also, the Lavender Scare was not even the last time we had this problem. It wasn't like Lavender Scare and then Lips of TikTok. No, this is after the Lavender Scare. And the Lavender Scare was basically triggered by the fact that homosexuality was illegal at the time, and therefore they think that gay people who work in government would easily be blackmailed by foreign forces such as spies in order to provide them with national security information. That's the excuse, anyway. But in the 70s, we also have the gay scare when Anita Bryant, that bitch, started right here in South Florida, campaigning how like gays will recruit children. I mean, the Lips of TikTok basically just took her playbook and ran with it on Twitter.
I mean, there's a few social media platforms that took that playbook. There's the groomers, there's there's plenty on
Gays Against Groomers and all those.
Moms for Linoleum,
Gays Against Groomers is pretty wild. I follow it just to see what and it's sometimes I have to like mute it because it's tough to watch. It's really tough. It's like all fake stuff.
I mean, it's like log cabin Republicans. I'm like,
the Putin endorsing Kamala thing was from that.
Another fake news propaganda. And I mean, ultimately, and then the 80s, of course, the AIDS crisis, when Trini, you alluded to the fact that churches will actively celebrated LGBT death as that's the wrath of God for you.
Well, just 2 years ago, we had the Don't Say Gay bill. And so all of us who were teachers, which I was included in that, we didn't know, could you put up a picture of your partner? Does that mean that's endorsing gay now? And we had a whole 6 months or so before the legislators came out to say, all right, you can have a picture of your loved one there, that you're not going to be fired from your job. But for a good 6 months, there was
it was murky water.
It was murky water.
It's still going on today. Okay, next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up gay culture. Celebrate Gay Christmas with these top 10 events for spooky LGBTQ fun. Halloween is when the LGBTQ community goes all out, and this year promises no exception. Many call it Gay Christmas, making it the most important LGBTQ holiday of the year. Across the US and beyond, elaborate costume contests, wild dance floors, and themed parties are set to bring out your spooky side. From New York's Meet XXL to Fort Lauderdale's Wicked Manners, here are the top 10 most searched queer Halloween events of 2024. West Hollywood's Halloween Carnival and Dallas's Oak Lawn Block Party continue their legacy of extravagant celebration, while Chicago's Haunted Halsted Parade and Washington, D.C.'s District of the Dead bring flair to the streets. London's Bear Watch, Scare Watch promises international flavor. No matter your budget, there's an event for you, whether it's ticketed extravaganzas or free local parties. Cities such as New Orleans, Boston, Wilton Manors, and San Francisco are ready to serve up all the thrills. Happy Gay Christmas. I know I'm in the minority when I say this, but things are scary enough leading up to this election, so boo humbug.
Oh, but,
What?
you know, my kimono needs to come out once a year.
Shameless plug, I will be in the street on the drive from 7 to 11 doing a DJ set outside of the Well area. There's a stage over there. I'll be on that stage from 6 to 11. Come see me. Come hear me.
I spend many a Halloween on the drive. It is a fun time. You should get out there. And
Sorry.
why not?
It's not going to happen.
No, okay.
You said boo humbug.
I won't.
I loved that.
Bah humbug.
Force the issue. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up politics. Georgia Representative Sam Park versus Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ding, ding. Bless her heart. It's a dramatic contrast for Georgia State Representative Sam Park. A rising Democratic figure is proving to be the polar opposite of the controversial U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Park, who was elected to office the same night Donald Trump won the presidency, has navigated a divided political landscape in Georgia with kindness, thoughtfulness, and teamwork. Very demure, very mindful. In a recent interview with LGBTQ Nation, Park was asked about Greene, who is perhaps Georgia's most infamous politician due to her staunch support for Trump and her penchant for conspiracy theories. We are waiting for the space lasers as we report this story. When pressed to say something positive about Greene, Park responded, quote, Oh, that's a tough question, I say. Bless her heart. You know, she has the right to think what she wants. She's entitled to her opinion, but not the facts, end quote. While not acknowledged by Park, bless your heart is a popular saying in the South that is a Southerner's polite way of saying, fuck you. As the first Korean American and openly gay man elected to the Georgia State House, Park continues to champion values of inclusivity and reason, serving as a strong counterpoint to Greene's often combative rhetoric. MGT, bless your heart. Well said. I don't know much about Park. He doesn't get much news or media coverage because she dominates everything in there. But thank you for speaking up on one of your fellow representatives of your state. And hopefully you'll be recruiting some votes for Kamala Harris in a few days.
Bless your heart, MTG, and may it cease beating sooner rather than later.
Oh, God. Ding dong.
Boo humbug. LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up gay culture. Reddit offers interesting theories on why queer men chase straight bros. In an intriguing conversation, to say the less, unfolding on Reddit, a user recently asked why some queer men seem drawn to straight guys. The post is the subreddit Gay Bros questioned, quote, "What's the appeal with pursuing or sexually engaging with straight men?" End quote. Comments quickly poured in. One user suggested these straight chasers may be seeking what they perceive as an illusion of greater masculinity. Another echoed the sentiment, adding that they don't want any hint of femininity or campiness, so they go for straight guys. A third comment highlighted internalized homophobia or misogyny that could contribute to femphobia within the queer community. Do you at home have any theories? Do we at the table have any theories? Listen, I feel like sometimes in life you go down a road, and if you're at a point in the road where you have to take a turn and, you know, you have a dabble with someone who may identify as a straight bro, we've all been there. You know, it's fine. But I am of the belief that I don't think there's much internalized homophobia and misogyny attached to it. Sure, every now and then, but I don't think it's a major thing.
Well,
the floodgates have been opened.
The guy's hot. I mean, if the guy's hot, then,
right,
you know, you go for it. If and the thing is, too, these days, especially in this day and age, the young men are such, I mean, I'm not young anymore, but young men are much more receptive with, even if they're straight, they might not outright reject someone just because like a big guy hits on you.
When I was single, if they were married, it was off the table. Like I don't want a married man with a wife and children and dogs and a turtle and backyard chicken. None of that. You know, like if it was a straight guy that was like, hey, I'm not gay, but you can blow me. I took a $5 bill for every time I heard that. I'm just saying.
Well, I've lost count of how many straight men I know that are far less masculine than some of the gay men I know.
Right?
This theory, my friends, is flawed.
All right. So let's be real. We are gay men, which means we are attracted to men.
Right.
Just because they're gay or straight, it really doesn't make a difference that we're physically attracted. There is a biological desire to be attracted. Now, as we try to become our healthy versions of ourselves, like it's not good to chase them because it's generally not going to end up in a great situation for you because you'll be pining after somebody who generally wants, that's unavailable, right? So then we go into our high horse of like, all right, we're not doing that. We're evolved gay men.
More like
right?
a mini pony, but
yeah. But then when it happens, like it happened to me the other day, and it was fantastic. And I've generally tried to pride myself on being one of those mentally fit people that's like, no, I'm not going to go down that road. And let me tell you, it is taking all of me, huh?
Did he message you?
We're friends. Friends, and you know, that's the one rule.
Is he single?
Oh,
yes, but
That's good, right?
Not really.
Why?
Because again, you don't want to go.
Fine.
Yeah, it depends what you're looking for. If you're just wanting the sexual aspect of it, but if you feel like you may be falling for the person,
you gotta be careful.
The sexual aspect?
Why do you? What do you think?
I don't know.
What do I come across as?
You sort of come across as you may like this straight guy more than just like hooking up.
It is true, but the thing is that before when we became friends, I already took it out of my mind, and then once that line got crossed, then I was like, oh, now it's hard to pull it back. But I don't think it has anything to do with homophobia, and I don't think it has it or what did they say?
Self-hating.
Femphobia.
Yeah.
And I think all of us can attest to being attracted to a dude. Like, there is a thrill, and I think psychologically, if we say to ourselves, like, if we can get a guy to like actually turn his sexuality for us, it makes us feel a little more empowered, a little bit more attractive, a little bit more like, okay, you know, I will say I definitely have more luck with straight guys than gay guys. And I don't want it to be that way, but gay guys tend not to like me so much, but straight guys like me a ton. So nice. It limits my options a little bit, so I dabble in that water a bit more.
Actually, the sense of like your confidence is the same way that why straight men love lesbian porn. Like, oh, maybe I'll turn one.
No, I'm not lesbian. No,
No turning.
Not pulling me down there.
Nope. All right, so LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up social justice. Catholic school trustee banned after Nazi swastika and pride flag comparison. Oh, that's a switch. Catholic school board trustee in Ontario, Canada, is making headlines once again after being kicked off the board for a second time over comments comparing the pride flag to the swastika. Natalia Benoit, a trustee at the Niagara Catholic District School Board, first faced censure in January. An independent investigator found that her comparison of the pride flag to the Nazi swastika violated the board's code of conduct. As a result, Benoit was removed from her duties and barred from attending meetings for 6 months. It's important to note that Catholic schools in Ontario receive public funds, therefore school board. However, after returning from suspension, Benoit introduced another proposal to ban the pride flag from being flown at schools and board offices. Her reasoning, she said, quote, any flag at all, like the Nazi flag, we don't want that up either, right? End quote. Benoit now faces a second removal from the board. Good, because frankly, that's just disgusting. I mean, it's basic, and also, you're fucking Canadian. Aren't you supposed to be nice? Like,
that is a rumor.
Okay. Shattering myths all the way. We're reassuring you now in a way, though, that this kind of ignorance isn't just limited to the United States, right?
All right, hear me out. All right, I am not saying.
I knew you were going to say this.
That gay, like a gay flag is commensurate with the Nazi flag, right? But we have to be careful when it comes to speech and what we're saying and how you can't discriminate people.
That's right.
Based on some of their beliefs, especially like we would discriminate against every Christian person that's evangelical in this country who doesn't think that homosexuality isn't a sin, you know? So she didn't necessarily say that the pride flag and the Nazi flag are the same. What she said, and we saw a lot of dots there, which was a lot of the text was cut out of it, which basically like we don't want to promote anything other than what's going on in the school. So she may be a raging homophobe in her personal life, and that's fine. She can do whatever she wants in her personal life. When she's saying is that, okay, well, if you don't want this flag, then we don't want to have this flag, and that should be tolerated free speech, and she should not be kicked out of a board for that. Maybe there are other reasons why she was. Maybe
they said it was her second time.
Right, but that statement in and of itself is not something that somebody should be removed for.
But maybe it could have been, instead of the Nazi flag as a comparison, she could have said the Canadian flag. I mean, when you are using something that is obviously not good, in the same set, I'm not saying that she said gay, not the same thing, but what I am saying is that she chose to use the Nazi flag. So, she could have said, we don't have a Canadian flag flowing. She could have said, you don't want to see there are other things that could have been said. And I hear your point. I don't think that someone should be removed for freedom of speech, but I do think that it was a dig. I think that it was a comparison that could have been something different. You know, we're being affiliated with something horrible.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing. Well, first of all, First Amendment doesn't apply in Canada, and second, and secondly, the whole thing is that the illusion. I mean, like conservative states are doing the same thing too. For example, Ron DeSantis banned display of any flag except for like the 5 approved flags. It's not explicitly said to exclude the pride flag, except that it is meant to exclude the pride flag.
But how many times have we compared conservative politicians to devils and made iconography of other things? Like, we have to protect that. And I know they don't have the First Amendment or whatever, but I just don't think that she should be removed for that.
I agree with you on that.
LGBT.
You're up.
News. Let's queer up politics. Cher shows support for Kamala Harris for president in a trending social video. Music icon Cher has officially endorsed Kamala Harris for president, sharing her support in a straightforward 21-second social media video. Cher, a longtime Democratic supporter, previously expressed doubts about Joe Biden's re-election bid. Over the summer, she voiced concerns about his chances following a poor debate performance, stating that it might be time for Democrats to, quote, think outside the box. Now, Cher has thrown her full support behind Harris. Cher joins a group of music legends backing Harris, including Barbra Streisand, Bruce Springsteen, Willie Nelson, and Stevie Wonder. Younger stars like Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish are also rallying behind Harris on the campaign trail. Here is what Cher says this week.
I've followed Kamala Harris since she was my U.S. Senator. She fought for me then, and she is fighting for all of us now. That's why I'm proudly voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I know they will fight to protect our rights, and I'm so grateful to be able to make my voice count this year. I hope you will too.
Cher was right when she questioned Joe Biden maybe having another option. She's right to back Kamala Harris. She is right to inspire people that there is, I don't know, to believe in life after love. And for my sake, I really hope so.
Fresh from her long overdue Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction,
Yay!
Cher does continue to give us reasons to believe.
It's true. And I mean, if you haven't already, this is so shameful, but watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Cher closed it out. She was incredible. She performed. She didn't, lingerie, but it was incredible.
Did she lip sync?
I think they might all have to lip sync at the Victoria's Secret fashion show, but she was definitely singing, but there was probably like a track, yeah.
Got it.
But she was great. She was great, and her boyfriend is fucking hot. Yeah.
She gives me hope. That is today's news for the LGBT community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ evening news show. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of HOTspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Eric Restivo, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Gregg Shapiro, Dr. Bobby Huen, and TriniDaddy, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. We remind you the presidential election is just 13 days away. Stand up for equality, rights, and representation. Early voting has started across most of the country, so get your voting done now to avoid long lines. Let's make history. Let's vote for a better future. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.